Oh yes, welcome to this broadcast of the chat of our news. My name is Lebo Mothlabane. I'm sure you will notice that the broadcast here started a bit late today. In fact, it's 38 minutes late. What? I'm sure you've been waiting for us, waiting to engage with us and see what do we have for you today. Like you always know, we all have a jam-packed show. We have our guest today, Dr. Nomngcoyiya, who's a doctor of social work. We're going to be chatting to him today about what's going on around South Africa. As you know, earlier we showed you pictures of EQ's social grant, where it fears the infection are so high because issues like social distancing just became non-existent overnight. So yeah, those are the things that we're actually going to be talking about. But for now, I just want to work with you here and give you what's going on around the world, a bit of in numbers, just what's going around the world. As we know that namhlanje is the first day of ukubhatalwa kwe-social grants, supposedly kubhatalwe abantu abakhulu, but apparently ingathi nemali yabantu abancinci abo bapeya i-grants abantwana iyaphuma as well. Just i-headlines namhlanje deaths zase-Europe. Europe alone has passed over 25,000, which is so high. And in cases zabo they are more than 300,999. They are close to 400,000. And Jengwez and Liz when just 700,000, so they have 400,000 wabo as Europe. So Europe, we can safely say that it's the leading continent now kulo mcimbi we-corona, and it has even passed the Asia apho iqale khona lento. So to us as Africans apho lento ingathi isengasemva, this simply shows that this thing can overwhelm countries. And Europe, well, it's a very developed country than us. South Africa has banned export of face masks, hand sanitizers, and an unproven COVID-19 drug. So I think OurNews is trying to make sure that they remain here in the country. I'm sure you might have heard Prince Charles, yes, the heir to the throne of England, also tested positive for coronavirus. So he's out of, they say he's out of isolation 4 days after he tested positive for coronavirus. He's the Prince of Wales. Remember, there was a story that was making news of a KZN man who allegedly locked inside workers. He's out on bail. And it's a Chinese national, Nokwenza, who did this act. Now he's out on bail. Bail of 20,000. Those are some of the things that we need to look into, guys. Ubavalela njani abantu effect just because you just want money. Ibe i-country yethu ifacene nalento, and yet yena kwase-China he knows exactly the impact of this thing. So yeah, those are just some of the news. And oh yes, that's another story that we will need to look into kakuhle going forward. There was a man who was apparently shot yesterday by in fact kubanjwe a metro police and a security guard for shooting this guy during a patrol, and this guy was in his veranda. Prime Minister was Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is under a precautionary COVID-19 quarantine because the staffer in his office tested positive. So yeah, a metro cop security officer have been arrested after a phosphorus man shot on veranda during lockdown enforcement drive. We'll be talking about that more later on when we look into this issue of a lockdown and also what's going on social media with abantu. We've got very interesting videos that we would want to share with you ngalo mcimbi we-lockdown. So do tune in kwishow yethu later on in the day at 9 o'clock. So without wasting more of your time, even though I know we're not wasting any of your time, because we're bringing you in Daba as the right Okay, I'll bring in Dr. Nomngcoyiya just now so that we can talk to him. We're going to be talking to Dr. Nomngcoyiya. He's a doctor of social work. He's going to be shedding more light about what's going on around the country. Let's go now live to Dr. Nomngcoyiya. Doc, masi thathe lithuba sikubulise, and thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you very much, Lebza, and your viewers.
Thank you. And
it's good to be. Yes.
All right, thank you. And the sound yakho is crystal clear. Itsho kakuhle. Yes, it's no itsho kakuhle, ivakala kakuhle lo. Now,
okay, no, that's
Doc, I'm sure you've also noticed namhlanje on social media and kwezinye platforms that kubhatalwa grants and abantu bayakhala ngalo mcimbi we-social distancing. Bayakhala into yobana le setup sinayo ngoku it could be a disastrous one ekukhuleni kwalo mcimbi we-coronavirus. Do you think abantu bethu are actually taking this thing serious?
I must say, Lebza first. It's a pity and it's a bit of a shame, because for many of our people, I think the issue of the coronavirus, it's still something that they see it from the distance. So if you look at how we behave, actually all of us, I won't even pinpoint like maybe now the sins that actually happened or that are happening today of the elderly grant and pensions and the pensions for those that are physically challenged. But in overall, so far, I think most of us, we assume that this whole lockdown, that emergency that has been declared by the state and the president, I think we are just putting it squarely on the shoulders of the president alone, and maybe the state. For us as communities, yes, I've seen around like really people are trying by all means, but really people on the grassroots, I do not think, in my view, have really understood, or maybe they are taking this issue of this virus really serious. And it's a concern because, especially now that already in places like Kailicha, it has been confirmed that at least one case has been confirmed. And then for me, it's a bit of a scare, because once this breaks out in our townships, it will just spiral out of control. And I do not see it. I do not see us really be able actually to recover from that once it actually penetrates in most of our townships, because especially for the fact that all of us, we know how our townships are actually designed. So once it gets there, it will just be out of control, and nobody, not even our government. I think, although I don't want to sound like a prophet of doom, what is happening in Italy now is exactly the result of many communities not really taking these kind of precautions serious. So that is why they find themselves in that position at the moment.
Yes.
So in the South Africa, I'm really scared, because remember, we are not only facing the COVID-19 alone. We've got quite a number of our community members already that are living with HIV.
Yes.
We've got quite a number of them that are already diabetic. We've got quite a number of them that are already suffering from TB and all these other social viruses. So it's a shame, because those people in particular, once you already have one health aspect that is already there, it's going to be very difficult, because now the coronavirus will just take advantage of something that is already there. and really, I wish really we can do more than what we are doing at the moment. However, the scenes that we see, that we are seeing today, I've been imagining actually the entire week since last week that I'm waiting to see actually when these days of our social security actually, when we start to have these social security grants, I want to see how we are going to handle this, because remember, other people might just think that when we talk about this social security, we are talking about just about few numbers. In our research, people that are in social security at the moment, they are not less than 17 million. I'm talking about 17 million. So when you see those lines, you are not looking at the lines of maybe 10 or 100. You are looking at 17 million people that have to access those social security grants only between today and tomorrow.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
the next. So the strength of our safety measures when it comes to the coronavirus will really be tested. And I really hope against all hopes that really the coronavirus will just be like bear with us, especially in those queues, because it's difficult to avoid them, Lebza, because of one reason, that the pay points and where our elderly and everybody else that that access grants, the pay points are just not enough. They are not enough. You can remember the day, even now in our normal day, when we are receiving grants, some of us, we will rather not go to the bank from today up until maybe up until the 5th of next month, and then we start going to the bank after that, because it is always chaotic, and even if you go to the shops, you cannot get anything. If you go to the banks are just full into capacity. So, and even you see, and people really in this time around, government cannot do so much. Lebza is going to go down now to individuals. We have to take a responsibility. When we are told to maintain that social distance, we do not even need police or even the army to come and tell us that. It's supposed to be something that we do on our own without actually being compelled by the police or soldiers. Yes. So, okay. No, I think in my view, maybe as a country again, I think we also have a tendency of assuming sometimes that maybe everybody is on this boat. All of us, maybe we are aware now about the coronavirus and its ramifications,
Yes.
without really testing the. Because even if you have received, I do not know now, I stopped counting how many voice notes that I've received for
Exactly.
people, like especially from their view on the coronavirus. Some of them are saying, no, it is just a chemical that has been spread maybe by China, and others are saying, no, this is a war between China and USA. China, we are just on the firing line.
Yes. We're
So
just
if you look at those
collateral.
things, they actually suggest that, and others even assume that this is just a disease for people of different race, not us, like as
Yes.
Africans, because we are
Yes.
thick-skinned. So all those things, they actually now lead you straight to education. Maybe the fact that we do all these programs even on your platforms and even on television, maybe it's not enough. Now we need maybe now the field or the foot soldiers to go to the ground and start now teaching our people now door to door, if that's what is needed, because I'm scared. At the end of the day, you look
Yes.
now, I've seen even on WhatsApp and Facebook and everywhere, people in our villages, they still continue with their traditional rituals. They continue with their with their funerals as if nobody has announced anything. So
Yes.
I know, okay, in South Africa, especially after 1994, I can safely say that we tend to have no regard for the law. Actually, we are not told by anybody what to do, because everybody here, we all have the rights. But this time, our rights are really going to be measured also by our responsibility, and we have a responsibility. If you do not worry much about your life, maybe you should care about the life of
exactly
for the generations to come, because the spillover effect of this coronavirus, it will be felt even for the generations to come. Already Europe, in Italy, is already feeling actually the pinch, and even I think even the USA is coming just after it, and really those are the big countries that have a stable economy. So I do not know when it comes to our situation, because we are just a developing country that does not even have much resources. Yes, we are trying as to compare with other African countries, but we do not have much resources that we can really even face a coronavirus from toe to toe, like really fighting it the way even the Italians have tried.
yes
Because Italy, they have tried, but the president now, I think, was it last week, late last week, was really in tears.
yes
At the moment now, they have no answer. They are just maybe like really waiting now for God maybe to bring his miracle, because they have exhausted their health fraternity resources and everything that they can do. But the more they try, but is the more coronavirus actually comes in full force. So
to that's actually what I wanted to ask you, Doc. Ucinga into yobana abantu bakuthi ingabathatha ixesha engakanani to recover from this, and also the effects that lo mcimbi we-lockdown is actually going to have or on our people?
To you, Lebza, and the viewers, I do not want to lie to you. The lockdown, the 21 days of a lockdown, actually, it is just this is a good opportunity for us actually to try to contain a coronavirus. So if it comes to the point where it seems as if we do not want to take it serious and really, even after 21 days, the numbers actually just are burgeoning out of control, we are going to feel this even for the next 5 years. Believe me. Even in China, you see, if I have to take you back in China, the coronavirus is not actually the first time that it comes in China. If people are really reading, they are for instance, are really taking reading serious. In 2000, coronavirus came, but in a form of, it was called SARS. SARS case. Yes, it's called a severe acute respiratory syndrome.
Yes.
So it's also that SARS actually also belongs in the same school or in the same
family
basket like the coronavirus that we are facing today.
Yes.
Even the coronavirus, the one that we are facing now, it did not start like now, January or February this year. It started last year. But at that time, nobody really took it serious, except for one doctor in China that alerted to government, but he was told to shut up because he's going to cause us. And even the SARS, it was the same situation. The SARS came in 2000 and nobody took it serious, but it started now to languish around China between 2000 and 2003, and it lasted. I remember very well. It started in November in 2002, and it lasted as far as July the next year in 2003. So it's not a child's play. It's not something really that we need to take this really serious, because for us as a country, both whether you call it physically, psychologically, emotionally, even financially, is going to cost us dearly. Not only for a month or two. It can last as far as something like 5 to 10 years and even more. So it will take us a long time for us to recover from this if we cannot contain it like now and make sure that at least maybe if these numbers can spiral, they might just go over maybe 2,000, and then everybody is locked down. As a result, now all the people that are infected at that time, all of them would have been tested, and all those that needed to be confirmed positive would have been tested positive, and all those that are negative. And then now we know exactly what we are dealing with. But as things stands, if people are still continue as if it's business as usual, we're gonna feel this like in a big way. That is why I was very worried when I got the news this morning that Khayelitsha has confirmed his first case. If you look at Khayelitsha and even East London, Los Punzana, Duncan Village, you go to Johannesburg, Soweto, you go to likes of PE. You do not want really this virus to go to those really those communities are already vulnerable by the way they are structured.
Yes,
How much more now if you of their vulnerability, they have to contend as well with the virus.
Really, can you also elaborate more on that? Le virus what does it really mean to us? Because in my thinking, ngabantu that come from the Western Cape to the Eastern Cape. Ngabantu bebesiza, in fact, that are here already. What does it really mean for us? Into bana le virus ibe kanti ifumanekile in places like Khayelitsha, and even Grahamstown, you get it, Grahamstown, Aberdeen is rural, Queenstown as well. You have a case at Queenstown, you have a case at Jeffreys Bay. What does it mean now that Lendo it's even more closer to us?
Yes, Lebza. What I can say now, the myth that this virus actually is meant for people of different race, let's say white or Chinese or whatever. That one now, now that one we can actually square it off now off, because if now it is found actually in Khayelitsha just yesterday, that actually means now even your brother or your sister that just came from Khayelitsha last week now, like when the lockdown, the day before the lockdown, those people actually might have carried the same actually virus now, even to the Eastern Cape and even other parts of the country. So meaning that now it's no longer now a virus for different people. It's actually a virus now, even for me and you. So that's what it means when it's about Khayelitsha, and when that is mentioned, it actually suggests that now if we thought this virus was still far away from us, but it has knocked now straight to our door. But it's a matter of time now before, if in our own families where we are living, it actually gets there.
Yes,
so it's a matter of time.
Yes.
All because I've been praying now that, look, even if it comes to South Africa, maybe if it's still in the suburbs, maybe those people there can still actually contend, for instance, with this virus, because at least they've got everything that many South Africans are still wishing for. But now when it hits home, when we are told now it's in Khayelitsha, that actually means it can be, now as we speak, maybe there's one person or two that are already carrying it in Fort Beaufort. You see? So if in any township now, there might be a possibility that one person or two, they are actually carrying it. And it's a matter of days or maybe just a week before, even a couple of numbers in these townships are said also to be positive or as a result of the coronavirus.
All right, Doc, Nance and into that is a that I think I would want to cover as we wrap up this interview. Ibaluleke kangakanani into ye status quo kule fight against the coronavirus, as you mentioned something that as suburbs they might have the resources that our people do not have. Ibaluleke kangakanani the inequality. What will be the effect of the inequality in South Africa kule fight against the coronavirus? Because really some of our people in the townships might not have the resources, because kuthethwa nangento flu vaccines. Tomorrow we'll be talking to a doctor who ozasicacisela more ngalo mcimbi we-flu vaccines. Some of our people do not afford these flu vaccines kuthiwa masibe kanti siyazithenga. So ibaluleke kanani lo mcimbi we-inequality kulo mcimbi we-fight against coronavirus?
Lebs, I can look at it in two folds. For instance, I wish to, if people maybe when I mentioned the issue of suburbs, think that I'm saying maybe is better in the suburbs. It's not. The good thing about it, so the bad thing about the coronavirus, I think I read the statement that was made by Bill Gates, I think 2 days or 3 days ago, when he said the coronavirus, it is providing an opportunity for us, actually maybe as societies, to come together so that we can close even the inequalities, the gaps of inequalities. The reason why he mentioned that, Lebza, he was actually trying to say, now, as things stands, whether you are rich or poor, it does not actually, you are not actually immune to coronavirus. It does not care about your race, and it does not care about your social standing. Let's say your social status, whether you are wealthy, even in his case, he's a billionaire, but he can actually be positive and he can be killed by coronavirus. And he even said, if we do not want to believe that, let's look at Tom Hanks. So one of the Hollywood actors that of our time. So he was actually trying to say, whether you are a billionaire in this case, whether you are poor, but you are really not immune to coronavirus. But in reality, Lebza, in South Africa, because of our really because of our gaps, especially because there's a big gap and a huge gap in inequalities, you really cannot really even think twice by when you look at our communities. Because if you talk about, for instance, that at the moment there's no cure for coronavirus and there's no vaccine at the moment. The only thing that people need now to do are those maybe getting some medications to boost their immune system. Now you tell that now, even to this money that our people are receiving today, there won't be a budget for immune boosters in that money. You see, that money cannot even much of their basic needs. I'm talking about food, man. There will be no budget for our people that are getting a grant from that money. So already, if it goes to the point where our people need to buy even the boosters, our people need to even go and test themselves. Forget about that one. If you are saying the test is 1,000 and something to test, they will rather wait up until somebody tells them that they are infected, because they cannot afford, because the test itself is almost the amount of the money that they receive now in the grant almost every month. Some are receiving even money that is even way less than what the test is. So if you look at that, some people now, if you look at the middle class and the upper class and the class that is really wealthy, those are the people that, at least in their case, if somebody can advise them, like a doctor, to say, look, if you can get these kind of boosters, you might just be able to fight this virus with everything, with every muscle in your bone. But now, if that is reversed, now you go to our people on the ground, they can never afford the test levels that government that is there at the moment, and they cannot even afford even the some of those medicines, even all the materials or the nutrients that you want them to get now, in order to fight like this virus, using like making sure that their immune system is ready to deal with any kind of virus such as corona. So that's where you see now the inequalities, because it's about, it's going to be a situation of who can afford those nutrients and everything that we need, for instance, to boost our immune system. And I can say now, the reason why I'm worried about some of these communities that have already pinpointed. My worry about them is that they cannot even afford, when our labs are sometimes, to buy I'm talking about the grandpa now, just for the headache. You see? So now, if you tell them to buy immune boosters that are costing them anything that is above 100 rand and more, you are telling them now to just wait for the corona and die. They cannot afford that, unless the government now, maybe with this lockdown also, they will be putting like they will be putting other measures, for instance, in place, and also to make sure maybe that even the test now is going to be available now for everybody to just go and test without having to pay, because our people cannot be able really to afford even the paying of the test kit. So hence, Labs, I'm saying, really, for me, our people must just stay at home and make sure that they really observe all those precautionary measures. They have to wash their hands. They have to maintain, for instance, their distances. They have to make sure that whatever that they do, if they are touching any surfaces or touching anything, before they can touch their face and touch maybe their food or anything, they must make sure that they have used the detergents to clean their hands. So those are the things those things get. Is even in many communities, we are even unable even to afford these so-called what we call even water. We cannot afford water because there are communities that have been now, even before the corona came into this picture, that they actually been living without water. So you can imagine now, if they've been living without water, are they going to afford even this thing that everybody wants us to buy? What
The
is it? I mean,
vaccines, the flu vaccine.
yes, talking about the vaccine, because if you are talking about the vaccine, you are talking about if you are talking about those vitamin C's and all those things, you are talking about now the stars and the moon. Some people cannot actually be able to afford that. Now I'm
Yes.
talking about is even for people to afford even these cheapest nutrients that we were told that we have to buy, the lemons and the gingers and this and that. Other
Yes.
people, when they say they cannot afford it, they cannot afford it. You see. For me, really, I'm worried about our people, because even now I've been watching different television channels that I can see most of our communities, even Johannesburg, Alexandra, people are just doing their normal business. Children are playing outside, and then parents are watching them. Nobody cares, because the curfew that has been declared by the president, nobody has any regard for that.
All
You
right.
see?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doc. That was actually very insightful. Thank you so much, even for the recommendation that people should actually, rather than ukujonga ezinto expensive because they might not afford, mabathathe ezinto bakwazi afforda, igarlic, ilemon, ipepper, imihlonyane, and all that. Doc,
Stay at home and stay at
yes.
home, stay at home and stay at home. Just go out as long as just to get whatever that you need to get. We know that this staying at home, people are complaining about the anxiety. All of us, that is going to affect all of us, because our lives now have been disrupted. Disruption game. In my case now, I was supposed to be coming from work, but I've been sitting at home the whole day.
Yes.
That caused anxiety, because we are dealing now with a new normal, which is now our new normal now is corona, and it's something that not all of us, nobody has asked for this, not even our president, not even China, but it's just here now for us to deal with it. All we need to do now is to try to find our new coping mechanisms. We can do whatever you do, even around your home. You can start now spending more time with your children. You can start spending more time with your partner. You start to even to learn now new things that you did not know about yourself. Those that
Yes.
you can start. 21 days is just nothing compared to what we have to pay. Because if we are not paying attention to 21 days, we might actually pay with our lives. That's what President said when he declared the 21 days lockdown.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor Nomngcoyiya. We will. We. Yes. We will. Yes. Thank you so. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Nomngcoyiya joining us via Skype. Wow. Spoke about a lot of things. Spoke about a lot of things that were very insightful. Siyabulela kakhulu to him. and we will continue to engage with him going forward. And just get that expert advice on these issues. So right about now, yeah, man, it's been a great show. Since I pay this and we will not play you out even a song. Thank you so much for joining us. Later on, we'll be speaking to Pateka Zanibe. Yes, Petty D. I think that's easy. She's going to be talking about sports, the impact of this virus on sports. Yeah, and we'll also be looking at your socials, WhatsApp, on social media. We've got a nice video that we're going to be playing for you later on the show. So do watch 9 o'clock. See you at 9 o'clock. My name is Lebo Mothlabane, and I am your host. Thank you so much. Do share the video.